Post this photo. I'm sure you know who this gentleman is. We talked briefly about him last week. Um, right here. Okay, here. There we go. Shannon Sharp. So last week, I told you guys that the person who was accusing Shannon Sharp hired Tony Busby, the lawyer who has filed all of these lawsuits against Diddy, right? And I told you that that might affect her, her case, because Tony Busby doesn't really have a good reputation out here in these streets because he's really messy. And I had direct evidence of that. I listened to a particular podcast and they were talking about the Shannon Sharp situation. And one of the hosts said verbatim, when I heard that she hired Tony Busby as her attorney, I thought that, this is just a cash grab. That is not a good look when you are an attorney. As an attorney, you need to have an impeccable reputation. And because Mr. Busby has been in the news so often for things unrelated to his legal prowess, people now have kind of get a bad taste in their mouth when they hear his name when it comes to lawsuits. They're automatically assuming that there is some type of cash grab involved, that it's not up and up, right? So Tony Busby, while he has updated his online pictures, because the ones that were popping up when you typed in Tony Busby were not flattering, his reputation is still tarnished out in these streets, right? So this young lady who hired him as her attorney, now while we're hearing more and more that Shannon Sharp may actually be at fault, I don't know. The fact that she had hired this particular attorney kind of made people raise their eyebrows as to the validity of her lawsuit against him. So again, this is why brand reputation is very important, because Tony Busby's reputation ain't that great out here in these lawyers' streets, right? So when you have a brand, when you are giving people, when you are selling people a service or a good, you want to keep your reputation stellar. All right. Okay. So that was just a quick reminder of all that it cons.